Describe your perfect yarn, or why imperfection in handspun yarn might be its greatest beauty. Welcome to episode 7 of Woolen Spinning Vlogmas 2025. If you are just checking out my videos and you're new here, you might want to watch episode 1 first, which is linked for you down below. I'll be releasing these videos every other day so that my production schedule isn't completely overwhelming, and I hope that you enjoy them. One of the things that I appreciate most about podcasting is sharing an amazing community space with you. And if you like what you see and hear throughout Vlogmas, please consider joining us on Patreon. Links are below, and of course, please reach out to me with any questions. Please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. So I went somewhere else with this one because if you had asked an 18th century spinner about, quote, the perfect yarn, they might have looked quite puzzled. Perfection wasn't the point, usefulness was. Yarn was spun by hand because there was no other way. Every thread that built a garment, sail, or tapestry came from human rhythm and repetition, from the wheel, the spindle, and the breath of the person who spun it. The idea of a machine-spun standard of uniformity and flawless consistency did not yet exist. Yarn was a reflection of the hand that made it, an intimate record of motion, attention, and life. The Industrial Revolution really changed all of that. When spinning frames, mules, and jennies entered the world, they transformed fiber into a commodity. Twist could now be inserted at a measurable, repeatable rate. Yarns became identical, predictable, and interchangeable. The irregularities of hand spinning, the subtle thick and thin variation, the soft, uneven twist, were recast as defects rather than signatures. The perfect yarn, once the product of skill and patience, became a matter of calibration. Yet for those of us who return to spinning today, the story bends back toward the hand. In an age of precision manufacturing, we choose to make yarn ourselves, not because we must, but because we want to. In this voluntary slowness, the meaning of perfection changes. The yarns we spin are rarely uniform, but they are alive. Each one carries traces of decision. How much twist, how much draft, how much release. They are the measure not of control, but of connection. From a technical standpoint, perfect yarn is balanced. Its twist energy is resolved, its fibers lie in even alignment, and it neither kinks nor collapses. Such yarns produce stable fabrics with predictable drape and strength. But even in this ideal, there is room for nuance. A little under twist gives loft, a touch of over twist adds resilience. These deviations from the standard are not mistakes, but choices, a dialogue between fiber and intention. The spinner's hands read the fiber and respond in real time, adjusting to its crimp, staple length, and fineness. In that dance, perfection becomes situational, not absolute. The unevenness that sometimes creeps into handspun yarn, the sudden thick section, the whisper thin stretch, is often where the yarn feels most human. It records a momentary distraction, a pause for thought, or a shift in mood. Under tension, these imperfections distribute strength unevenly, creating fabric with a subtle texture and movement. When woven or knitted, these yarns catch the light differently along their length, animating the cloth in a way no mill-spun fiber can replicate. In truth, the perfect yarn might not be the most consistent, but the one that most faithfully expresses its material and its maker. Every irregularity becomes a fingerprint of process and a record of rhythm. When hand spinners work today, we inhabit an unusual space. We are both heirs to an ancient skill and quiet resistors of industrial speed. Machines can produce miles of flawless yarn in minutes, yet we sit with wheel or spindle drawing out meters in an hour. The wheel hums softly, the fibers drift through our fingers, and the thread grows almost imperceptibly. In that slowness, something essential reemerges. Spinning by hand reconnects us to the scale of human making. It reminds us that cloth once began as the gestures of ordinary people, millions of hands across centuries twisting fiber into continuity. In every culture, spinning once formed the backbone of material life, from flax in Egypt to cotton in India, wool in Europe, and alpaca in the Andes. The modern spinner, though surrounded by abundance, repeats those gestures not out of necessity but reverence. We spin to remember what labor feels like when it is meaningful rather than efficient. Perfection in this context becomes an ethical question as much as a technical one. To pursue uniformity is to imitate the machine. To embrace variation is to honor the hand. The beauty of hand-spun yarn lies precisely in what cannot be reproduced, the interplay between consistency and freedom, precision and touch. Each yard of yarn becomes a small rebellion against disposability, a tangible reminder that value can reside in imperfection. In spinning, control is learned through repetition, but perfected through release. At first, every spinner tightens their grip, over twists and over spins. We try to command the fiber into submission. I remember this so clearly. But with time, the hands soften, the drafting zone opens, and the yarn flows with less effort. The best yarns emerge not from dominance, but from dialogue, a mutual yielding between spinner and fiber. This balance parallels the creative process itself. Too much control and the work stiffens, too little and it falls apart. The craft teaches that energy must be guided, not constrained. Twist, like intention, needs room to move, to settle into its own equilibrium. When I spin with that awareness, the yarn feels different, more even, more alive. It reflects not just my skill, but my state of being. The perfect yarn, then, is not an object, but a relationship. It embodies the exact point where technique meets intuition, where effort gives way to flow. It is measured not by its regularity, but by how fully it captures the quiet conversation between hand, fiber, and wheel. If perfection means flawlessness, then hand-spun yarn will never qualify. But if perfection means harmony, presence, and integrity of process, then hand-spun yarn achieves it effortlessly. Its imperfections are not errors, they are evidence of touch. Each one reminds us that making is an act of attention, not automation. Before the machines came, all yarn was hand-spun, and every imperfection was part of the world's cloth. Today, those same variations feel radical again. They reintroduce humanity into a material landscape that has forgotten the shape of the hand. When I look at a skein of my own yarn, I see a record of breath, of rhythm, of patience. I see small, uneven moments that no machine would permit, but that I now cherish as signs of life. The perfect yarn is not without flaw, it is without indifference. It carries the maker's energy, my own, in every turn of twist, holding within its structure the oldest of truths. The beauty is born not of uniformity, but of care. Perfect hand-spun yarn in structural terms is a balanced yarn, one in which twist, tension, and fiber alignment coexist in harmony. It holds enough stored energy to give strength and elasticity, but not so much that it kinks or twists back on itself when relaxed. When a spinner hangs a singles and it dangles without curling, or when applied yarn hangs straight, both after washing, that balance has been achieved. Twist balance is the first indicator. A well-matched ply neutralizes the active twist of its singles, creating a stable yarn that lies smoothly in skein and fabric alike. Under-twisted yarns sometimes feel limp and fuzzy. Over-twisted ones feel wiry and they resist the hand. Between those extremes lies resilience, a yarn that returns to shape when stretched and yields gently to tension. Elasticity depends on both fiber crimp and the twist angle. Higher twist locks fibers together tightly, producing strength and durability, but reducing loft. Lower twist allows more air and softness, but sacrifices tensile strength. The spinner's goal is not to maximize either, but to find the right balance for purpose. Firm for warp, soft for weft, lively for knitting, stable for weaving. Grist, or weight per unit length, completes the picture. It describes how much fiber mass fills each yard of yarn, determining density, drape, and warmth. Two yarns of identical thickness can feel utterly different if one is loosely spun and airy and the other is dense and compact. A balanced yarn then is not perfect, but it is uniform. It is perfect because it is intentional. It remembers the spinner's touch, the wheel's rhythm, and the fiber's own will. It is the technical expression of care, proof that craft and physics can coexist in quiet harmony. Thank you for continuing to tune into Vlogmas with me. These are really fun to create, and while a lot of time, care, and attention goes into each, from script writing to editing to uploading, I've been really enjoying creating each of these for you. We are at the end of week 2 of December, and I hope that the month is going well for you. Sometimes there's a lot that falls on your plates at this time of year that can detract from the season. As we seek to find that balance of enjoying the time of year and participating in activities, community, and other commitments, I hope that finding time to make things finds a place on your list. I'll see you on Monday. For more about woolen spinning in our community, please have a look in the down bar. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can find me on Instagram as Woolen Spinning. Check out Patreon to join the community at patreon.com/woolenspinning/join. And I'll see you in episode 8, Tools with Memory. That was a really fun one to start to think about and to start to make. So I hope that you enjoy it. Until then, happy spinning. Bye for now.